Oh, let's go straight to FMDQ Exchange Place. Constance Onya, who's a fixed income dealer at Access Bank, is raising the cutting on the fixed income market for us this market week. Let's speak to Constance. Constance, good morning. Bring us
Morning.
up to great. Hope you had a nice weekend. So let's get
Sure.
together and share your thoughts about how we finished off last week, and if you have any learning curve for our yield curve as we start the second market week in the month of February.
Okay, so last week we saw like some mixed sentiments in the market, especially in the treasury bills market. The bond market was pretty quiet for the week. Rates on the 2049, which the stop rate came out at about 12.5, traded about 12.41-ish levels and is still at that level. So the treasury bills market has been active. We've seen some select demand and some select maturities, especially the January OMO bills. The NTB space has been a bit quiet. We see that investors' appetites are gradually dropping just because of the low rates that we have around that axis. Last week was much more for mixed sentiments, especially on the treasury bills market. This week, we expect maturity of bonds into the system, about 600 billion. We also expect 150 billion of NTB maturity, and we also expect 440 billion of OMO maturity into the system. So this week is going to be very liquid, and we expect market to be bullish coming into this week because a lot of market operators will want to take advantage and buy existing bills in the secondary market.
Very interested. This is going to be, I was just trying to do a little bit of a tally as you were giving the numbers. This is going to be north of 1 trillion naira, about 1.1 trillion naira, Constance.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
please.
yes. So, where will the impact on the yield curve be here? Will it be at the NTB or the open market operations or the Naira bond?
Okay, so we see both activity happening in both markets. The bond market, the auction is coming up next week, where the CBN is set to sell about 40 to 45 billion to 50 billion on the 10-year, 5-year, and 30-year instruments. But for now, people will just probably want to do some short-term maturities in the OMO space to probably hold their money in or lock their money in and then wait for the auction of next week. There's also this information about Green Bond Series 3 coming up. The Minister of Environment announced that last week sometime on the stock exchange floor that there will be some green bond that will be on offer, about 25 billion. So the government is also looking to borrow more this period. So between now and next week, there's a whole lot of activities. On Wednesday, there's the primary auction coming up, and they'll be rolling over the 150 billion that is maturing into the system. If that is not all mopped up at the OMO session on Thursday this week, hopefully CBN will mop up a lot of the liquidity in the system.
Yeah, I'm sure you and the rest of your colleagues are waiting for the green bond. Of course, the green bond is also listed on the FMDQ group where you are right now in their studios downtown Lagos, Victoria Island. So I'm sure the appetite will be there. But of course, the week after this, we're looking at the Naira bond February calendar from the DMO. What's your take? Are you preparing for that at Access Bank?
Okay, so we just suspect that CBN might want to sell more of what is on offer like they did the last time. So we see that on the 5-year, you have 40 to 45 billion on offer. On the 10-year, there's also 40 to 45 billion on offer. Then on the 30-year bond, we also have 50 to 60 billion on offer. So I think it'll be a lot more subscription this time because there's this 600 that is maturing and a lot of people might want to just put their money back into bonds. So we see that they might sell more because government's also willing to borrow more. So we see that there'll be a lot of demand for this particular bond and rates are probably going to crash. We saw the last stop rate at 12.5. Maybe 2049 will be closing at about 12.3 levels.
So what happens at the money market, OBB and overnight monies? You have any idea? How's that playing out?
Okay, so last week, market opened at 16% levels on the OBB and overnight. On Friday, it closed about 5% to 7%-ish levels. Coming into this week, because of the liquidity that we'll be having in the system, we'll see rates hovering about 1% to 2% levels in the coming, like, Wednesday, Thursday. This is just the beginning of the week today, and then these maturities are coming in on Thursday and Wednesday. So we see that OBB markets will probably close about 1 to 2% levels by the end of the week.
That's cheap money. So what happens to the Naira exchange rate, Constance?
Yes. The exchange rate is just going to be there, and so a lot of people have their money to hold.
I know, I know. This is good news for the Naira at the I&E window, somewhat, is it? Unless
Yeah,
there is
sure.
another,
Yes.
unless you have external pressure from the dollar.
Oh, the CBN has been stable in creating liquidity in the dollar market, so we don't really see much happening in that end. The CBN has assured every market player that they will continue to supply FX into the system. So even if the liquidity is much, the volume that CBN will intervene with will not change.
Okay. Just to wrap it up, what's your take for the rest of the month, as it were? Do you think there's going to be any change in terms of how the yield curve and the repricing is beginning to happen with the size of the liquidity that we have, and that the regulators, both the central bank and, of course, the DMO, will be doing down the rest of this month into the end of the first quarter?
Okay, so for the rest of the month, so the yield curve will probably remain flat because, the yield curve will probably be downwards because there's a lot of liquidity coming into the system, and we're suspecting bullish trend up till the end of the month. So the regulators are probably going to just be on a cruise selling OMO to us at the levels, maybe 13. The last OMO stop rate was about 13.05, and we don't think, we see rates coming down further because of this liquidity. So from now to the end of the month, we just see that yield curve will probably be on the downward slope.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Constant Onya, fixed income dealer at Access Bank. We appreciate your time this morning on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Okay, so just bringing everyone up to speed where we finished it on Friday. That's your opening call, by the way, on your open market operations, the NTB and the Naira bond. What is on the calendar for this week, including the money market rate? But just a quick one to remind you, if you're trying to check in with your data, how we finish off, the open market operations was quite heavy to finish off on Friday, 143.25 billion naira in 160 transactions at the FMDQ exchange market. And this, you can see the April 2020, 30th of April, holding the lion's share of the traded open market T-bills, 11.5 billion naira in 46 transactions. Roll that over and look at the Nigerian Treasury bills. As you heard earlier, that's quite a bit quiet, but again, 3.5 billion. Investors still considering what you see there as the new yield level for those tenured instruments in Naira. Then, of course, the Naira bonds, wrapping that up for you, is where you find the Nigerian bond, the long-dated 26th April 2049 paper, just 9 transactions for 3.65 billion Naira, nearly 20 billion were traded on Friday. That's just about to wrap it up for you. We apologize we couldn't connect to the stock exchange. We had a bit of a technical issues there with our analysts. We apologize to both of them, Adedayo Bakari from Afrinvest and Rotimi Fakayejo. We'll continue the conversation from here tomorrow when we come back. Earnings is still in our crosshairs here on Business Morning. Have a great day, everyone, and goodbye from Lagos.